I wanted to take some time to try and explain how I could create a combination or sequence lock in Telescape. Um, so the screen that you're looking at, I'm not currently in Telescape. This is the graphic software that I'm using to create my graphics. And I just wanted to explain the parts of my graphic so you know how I've created them. So it's entirely up to you which software you use to create your graphics. You can import PNG files or JPEGs very easily into Telescape. What I'm choosing to do is I'm using a piece of software called Adobe Illustrator to create my graphics, and then I will export my graphics out as PNG files. The puzzle that I'm going to demo and hopefully put together quickly and smoothly is a combination lock that requires a combination of 4 and right in order for the puzzle to unlock as so. And I've created the various elements of my puzzle, such as the orange squares, and also the combination locks that you would be able to cycle through in Telescape, such as 1, 2, 3, and 4 as a choice for the first lock or the first number on the left, and then the sequence of down, left, right, and up and right in the second. And my plan is that when the puzzle's put together in Telescape, as long as the players choose 4 and right, then the lock will open and they will be able to proceed to the next puzzle. Right, now I've explained those graphics and how I've created those. I have exported them as PNG files. I'm just going to minimize this, and we are in Telescape, and the files that I have on my desktop are each of the combinations for the numbers, all as separate PNG files, combinations for the down, left, right, and up, all as separate files. And then I have 2 background image states. I have the locked state, and then I have the unlocked state. So the way that I will create my puzzle in Telescape is that they will have, to start with, an background image, which will be locked PNG. On top of that will be the number combinations. And then at the moment there is a successful combination, the locked image that it will be in the background will be hidden, and the unlocked image will reveal. And so the numbers will appear and it will look like the lock has unlocked. So I'm going to go to Telescape. I'm going to go to my game builder, and I'm going to create a new game profile. So I've already got a test game in here. I'm going to create a new game profile. So I'm going to name the profile combination lock. For the time being, I'm going to put this in hybrid mode just in case it's helpful, and then I'm going to hit save. Hybrid mode allows me to preview when I test the puzzle. I can preview it in both Games Master mode and as the players would see it. So for ease, I'm going to leave that. I could always go back and change that later. Now I'm going to go into my puzzle. I want to add an item to my puzzle, and this is going to be a drag drop puzzle. So the idea that a single puzzle can contain various different elements that interact with each other. The background image that I want to use is the locked PNG. And I'm going to load the same image in as the thumbnail so that the same image is used as a preview. So I can see my items, they're exactly the same. And I'm going to, let me just check here. And I'm going to just put locked. Oh, actually, I'm going to put a combination. Okay, so I now have and I'm now going to edit draggables. So I have my background image, and now I want to place on top the other images. The first draggable image I'm going to place is the lock that is going to be hidden in the background, because I need to build my graphics as I need them to layer. If I added the lock later, when it revealed, it would hide all of the number combinations. So I need to think about that in advance. So I'm going to add a draggable. I'm going to choose my unlocked state. I'm going to fix position so that it stays in place, and I'm going to untick draggable is present from the start, because I don't want it to be present from the start. I want it to be hidden. And I'm going to hit save. So I can see that it's placed the graphic straight over the top. And now I want to go and add my number combinations on top of that. So I'm going to start with the left-hand numbers. I'm going to start with 1. And hit save. I'm just going to move it so that approximately here. I save the position. I'm going to add another draggable, number 2. This is all about just bringing the files in that you need so that they can be layered as they're needed. Sorry, I didn't save the position. So let's do one of these. I've done that. Now I'm going to do that one. Might be easier just to do each one individually. Then I'm going to save the position, and it will save the position of all 4 of those. and then I'm going to do the directional combinations. Okay, and then save the combination. Now, I appreciate that my graphic was slightly different. So the graphic that I previously had, the buttons were a little closer together, and where I've positioned them, I've spaced them out a little bit further. For the purpose of this demo, I won't jiggle things about for time, but of course you can go back and you can reposition and adjust things as you need. Now, with all of those elements layered, I've now got the ability to click on each of the draggables. So draggable 1 was the unlocked background image, and then draggable 2 was the combination 1, so the number 1 on the combination. I think this highlights how important it is to name your files appropriately. So when you're saving your images, name them so that you know what everything is. If you don't name them, if you don't name them with recognizable names, it will make life very difficult to be doing anything complex such as combination codes. Right, so I'm now going to click a combination code, and now I've positioned my draggable. I want the number 1 to be present from the start, but I don't want it to be draggable. I don't want people being able to drag the combinations around. I do want them clickable. So I'm just going to click fixed position. Let's save for a minute. I'm going back to do that through all of these. So I don't want number 2 to be present from the start because I want it to start at number 1. And I do want it to be fixed position. I don't want it to be present from the start, but I do want it to be a fixed position. Number 4, I don't want it to be visible from the start, but fixed position. And then for the number code, for the directional, I do want down to be the first one. So I leave that present from the start. And left, I don't want that to be present from the start. Save. Up, I don't want up to be present from the start, but I do want it fixed. And then the same for right. Now, the other thing to say is when I created all my graphics, I created everything in the same image to start with, so that when I exported it, I knew that all of the proportions were going to be correct. That way, I don't need to play around with scale. If you can create your graphics so that everything actually fits without you needing to scale up and down, it will make life easier. Right, so I'm going to hit save. So, save position. So I've now added all of my graphics in the layers that are needed. My number 1 and my down arrow are the graphics that are set to show from the start, whereas all of the others are basically hidden in the background. And all of the elements that I've placed aren't draggable because I've told them not to be draggable. That means they're not going to move. They should literally just be clickable as buttons. Right, and now I've saved the positional changes and I'm going to go back. I'm now going to add a code which will allow me to preview what I've created. So my item is a draggable puzzle, and it's called combination lock. So I want to create a start code for it. So I'm going to add a code. I'm going to put the code as start, and I want it to action. I want it to show a draggable combination lock. Is that right? I'm trying to work this out. Am I doing this correctly? Sorry. Enable code when. No, sorry, I don't want to show the draggable. I want to show the inventory item. Show inventory item, combination lock, and hit save. So now when I, in the preview, and I enter the code start, it will launch the inventory item that is the combination lock. So I'm now going to go to preview. I'm going to preview as a player. I can enter the word start, and it will now show the combination lock in the left-hand side. And it shows the combination lock with the preview image that I gave to the original inventory item, which only was the background image. So you can't see the other elements. If I click, I can now see my elements. So there are the button number 1 and down, but all of the other elements currently aren't showing because they're not visible from the start. Right, hopefully that explains part 1. Okay, so what I now need to do is I now need to make the number 1 be a click or a switchable sequence. So my players can try and solve the clue, and they know that 1 isn't the answer, but if they click it, it will then cycle through to 2. And if we click 2, it will cycle through to 3. And if we click 4, it will cycle through to 4. And if they click 4, it will cycle back to 1 again. And the same for the arrows. And the lock will only open if both the 4 and the right arrow are visible. So to do that, I need to add a code. The first step, there's quite a lot of steps to this, it's not simple. The first step to this is to add a code to the number 1 so that when someone clicks the number 1, it then hides the number 1 and reveals number 2. Or because of the way that I've layered things up, I don't need to hide the numbers. I can literally just show them on top if I want to. So 1 would always be at the bottom, 2, 3, 4, and then it would hide those 3, and show 1, so on. Right, let's try. This is a very hard thing to try and explain. So I'm creating a code. I'm going to say show show number 2. In fact, let's keep show number 2. And what I want it to do is I want the action for this. I want to show a draggable within the combination lock, and the draggable that I want it to show is draggable number 3, which is number 2. Sorry, this is where the number combination. So I want it to show combination2.png, which is the number 2 image. And I can add another step, which would be to hide the number 1. So it would show one and hide the other if I wanted to do that. I'm going to hit save. The code was show 2. So I'm going to hit save there. Now, if I go back into my combination lock and go to edit draggables, go down to my original number 1 image, the combination image, and I can make that number 1 clickable. So if someone clicks number 1, what happens? What I want it to do is I want it to trigger the code show 2, and I'm going to hit save. I'm going to save. I shouldn't need to save position, but I'm going to save position, and then I'm going to hit back. Now I'm going to preview as a player. I hit start. I get my lock, and now if I click this, it now shows number 2. Now I can't go anymore because I haven't programmed the rest. So I'm now going to go back to Telescape. I'm going to go to edit drag. I'm going to do this. I'm going to add a layer of complication here because I'm actually going to hide the numbers as I reveal them. So whereas what I've just shown you, number 1 was here and then number 2 was displayed on top, because I'm doing a sequence of 4, it makes life easier in my head if I just, as I reveal numbers, I hide all the ones below it, so I can hide the ones that I need. So I'm going to add another condition. Sorry, not another condition. I'm going to add another step. I'm going to hide a draggable, and the item that I want to hide is within the combination lock, and it is the number 1. I'm going to hit save. Now, when I go back to preview, it shouldn't look any different. I'll start. So I should still be able to click this, and when I click this, it will show 2, and it doesn't look any different. But what has happened is that whereas previously the number 1 image was still behind there, now it's literally hidden, so it's removed from the image. Right. I'm going to go back and do that for all 4. So I need to go, I'm going to add a code for show number 3. So if the code show number 3 gets created, what I want it to do is I want it to show the draggable item within combination lock that is number 3. And I want it to hide the number 2, because I know that number 2 is going to be the thing that triggers it. So I'm going to add another step. Hide draggable, combination lock, hide number 2. I'm going to hit save. Now I'm going to go to the combination lock, go to edit my draggables, go down to my, it's draggable number 3, but it's the combination 2. So it's the number 2 image. I want it to be clickable. And when someone clicks it, it will now show number 3. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to save position just in case I need to. And I'm going to hit back. Now I'm going to go to the preview as a player. It's sensible to check each step as you go. Otherwise, you potentially get lost in regards to, various puzzles that I've done, I've got ahead of myself and then I couldn't work out why something wasn't done. And it was because I jumped ahead of myself in my own logic and I'd forgotten something. So, right, start. So I've now got this. And now when I click number 1 hides, number 2 reveals. And if I click number 2, number 3 shows, and number 2 disappears. Perfect. Right. And to add another code for show number 4. And on this, I want to show a draggable, combination lock, and show number 4. And the step that I'm going to add, the additional step, is I want it to hide number 3. So I want it to hide draggable, combination lock, number 3. And I'm going to hit save. Now I'll go back to my draggables. And so if someone clicks number 3, so combination number 3, I want it to be clickable and it will show number 4. I'm going to hit save again. Go back. Preview as a player. Start. Reveal. Click my puzzle. I click 1. Right, snip. 2 and 4. Perfect. And now the number 4 is, I want it to cycle back to the number 1. So it would be effectively a loop. So I'm now going to show 1, add a code, show number 1, show draggable, combination lock, draggable number 1, and hide number 4. So, and then in combination lock, edit draggables, you need to go down to the number 4 and make sure that it's clickable and that it triggers show number 1. Okay, hit save. Go back, preview, start, click my puzzle. So now I should go to 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Now we get to number 1 again. Need to figure that out. Okay. Right, okay, need to think about that. So what is happening there? So if I go to show number 1, it is showing draggable combination lock 1. It's because the code, so because I've already used the code once, I need to make sure that it's a code that could be used multiple times. So I'm going to allow this code to be used multiple times. And I will need to do that for each of my codes. So I believe I've just edited that for show number 1. Yep. I need to edit it for show number 2. Allow this code to be used multiple times. Number 3, allow this code to be used multiple times. And number 4, allow this code to be used multiple times. That way I can continue the cycle. So I'm just going to go back to preview as player, start, reveal, click on here. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I've got a cycling code. Right, just need to do the same for the arrows. I'm going to go back and do that now. So I'm going to go to edit draggables, just so we're aware. So it starts down, and if I click down, I want to trigger a code, which would be to show the arrow left. Now I haven't created my code yet, so I'm just going to go back and create my code. So I need to create a show left code. I'm going to put an dash in there, left. I'm going to allow this code to be used multiple times. That way it'll be the cycle again. And I want to show the draggable combination with the left arrow, and I want to hide the draggable, which is the down arrow. And I'm going to save. And now I need to go back into my inventory item, into edit draggables. And now I need to apply that code to the down arrow. So the down arrow is now clickable, and when someone clicks the down arrow, it shows the left, and I hit save. Let's just go make sure that that works. Let's hit save position, preview this player. So start, puzzle. I can cycle through all of my numbers, just continue to cycle through them, and now I can cycle through one of these. Every time I click and it's interacting the code, you'll hear the sound that's being played. If you don't want a sound, or you want a different sound, you can apply that. I'll show you where to do that in a minute. But you need to do that for each of your items. I'm just using the default. Telescape will play a sound by default. So I now want to show up. So I'm going to add a code for show up. Show draggable, the item, show up. I want the code to be used multiple times, and I also want to, when I click, I want it to hide the draggable, which is the draggable for left. Hit save. I'm going to go back to my draggables. So left, when someone clicks left, it will launch the trigger code show up. Save. Go back. I'm now going to trigger the code for show right. Allow the code to be used multiple times. Show draggable combination lock. Show right, and hide draggable. Hide up. So go to the combination draggables. So now up when clicked needs to trigger code show right. And then the final one that I need to add is show down. So add show down. I want this to be used twice. Show draggable. Show down. Sorry. Yeah. But hide. Sorry, hide draggable. And hide the one that went right. And hit save. Go to edit draggables. Go to right. And when it's clicked, it needs to trigger code show down and hit save. Now let's just go back and preview the puzzle. Start. So I can cycle the ones, right, and I can cycle these. Now all I need to do, he says, I need to add a condition that unlocks that hides the background image and shows the new, the open lock when 4 and right are shown. So I go to back here. So this means I want to add the conditions to the code for show 4 and also show right. So I'm going to go and click into show 4, and we've already added the action. So when show 4 is triggered, it will show the number 4 and hide the number 3. But we want to add another step. We want to say that when number 4 is shown, we want it to show the locked image, the one that is currently hidden in the background. So the draggable one, which is unlocked PNG, we want it to show that, but under a particular condition. Only if the draggable is visible for the right arrow. Okay. So upon show 4, the number 4 will be shown, the number 3 will be hidden, and if, as well as 4, the right arrow is already selected or visible, it will then match that combination and show the unlocked lock in the background. I'm going to hit save. And then I need to do the same for the right arrow. So go to show right. I need to add the other step that says show draggable, unlocked PNG, with the condition that the draggable number 4 is visible. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to hit save. Now when I go to preview, and I go to start, load my puzzle, I can cycle through my numbers, I can cycle through my arrows, but I know the answer is 4 right, and the puzzle unlocks. And then you can trigger a code, or you can go through to your next puzzle, or however you want to do it, but that's the mechanics. Hopefully that's a useful explanation. Bye for now.